It's time to look at some of the stories making headlines in Nigerian newspapers. With me in the studio is Public Affairs Analyst Razak Olokoba. It's nice to have you join us right now.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Good to see you after a while.
Yeah, good morning, viewers at home.
Okay. And also joining us is a journalist and media consultant, Ife Kayode Akimbode, joining us on Skype from Ogun State. Ife Kayode, good morning.
Good morning, Mike. I feel good today.
Yeah, exactly. You feel better today. Nice to see you. Okay.
Good morning, Agolokoba.
Good morning, my brother. How are you? How's the family?
Great. Great. Let's start from Daily Times this morning. Daily Times newspaper says Akpabio risks jail term as NDDC's can of worms open. Okay. That's Daily Times. That's what it has there. You read details, you know who is making that statement. The Blueprint newspaper says on the NDDC, pandemonium as Pondei collapses under probe. That's the Blueprint newspaper. Pandemonium as Pondei collapses under probe. We spent 1.32 billion naira as COVID-19 palliatives, not 1.5 billion naira. That's the MD trying to make corrections there. And most contracts awarded to lawmakers. Akpabio is revealing that there was a can of worms yesterday. MD's slum underscores weight of corruption in APC government. That's the PDP is making that statement there. All right, that's the Blueprint newspaper. Let's go to the News Direct now. It says drama as acting NDDC MD Pondei faints during House of Reps probe. He won't appear before panel again. Bajabia Miller is saying this. And most of NDDC contracts awarded to National Assembly members. Akpabio is saying this. And PDP says APC government corrupt, demand for sack of Akpabio. All right, all that on the front page of the News Direct. Then let's go to Leadership newspaper now. It's still on the same thing. Lawmakers got most of NDDC contracts. Akpabio is revealing this. That's the Minister of the Niger Delta. A panel chair withdraws from probe as protesters clash at National Assembly. Pondei ignored doctors' advice against attending hearing. Okay, that's the Leadership newspaper. National Economy is next now. And it goes a different way. Iconic businessman, international media patron, Issa Funtua dies at 78. It's really touching when the story came out yesterday of his death. All right, that's the National Economy. Moving now to Daily Trust. Daily Trust says, end to insecurity in your hands. Burate tells Nigerians. End to insecurity, rather. End to insecurity in your hands, Burate tells Nigerians. Okay. Well, that video went viral yesterday, and a lot of people got different meanings from what that video meant, or what he said in the video when he said that the end to insecurity is in the hands of Nigerians. But it basically was talking about the need to cooperate with the security agencies. All right, now let's get into the discussion now. Most of the papers this morning obviously took what everyone expected was going to be the headlines, and that was the fallout from the probe of the National Assembly probe of the NDDC yesterday. And let me ask you first of all, Razak, when you were watching all of that, what was playing in your mind?
Well, it shows clearly that most of the guys, our people, at the end of affair, they are not taking us serious. And it is becoming a pattern now. Maybe there must be a legislation to it. Maybe Nigeria must reject it, but a penalty must be in place for you to come under such a necessary questioning by Nigerians and taxpayers' money. You now resort to this kind of a drama. There must be punitive measure towards it because it's misleading. If you do not have any underlying ailment before and you lapse into unconsciousness when you are asked questions, it's the thing that should be punished for. And it shows clearly that the anti-graft agencies in this country must brace up. That's why many felt that they are a toothless bulldog, because if they have been example in the past, nobody will do it again. So it is because there's a clear consistency in corruption, and there's a consistency in the inability of the government to punish people who have mismanaged our air. That's why we still have this thing. And that's part of our demand, that there must be consequence. If corruption, it is inspiring.
Right.
If you see people who mismanage your weight, at the end of the day, nothing happens to them. It keeps going on. And this kind of drama, we will not allow it to go like this. The civil society has taken up the matter. We will write the National Assembly. But Jabi Amila, is wrong for him to say that the man will not appear. This is my tax. I know how much I pay as tax every year. So it's not for him to say that the man will not come to the probe again. You say, doctor, on what basis is he saying that he will not come to it is not dignified for
but besides all of that, one would say, what would even be the outcome of a probe like that when the minister of Niger Delta was saying that you're the chairman of the committee, maybe
that's why Jabi Amila is saying that. Maybe that's why Jabi Amila is
let me throw this question to Ife Kayode there. Ife Kayode, I will still ask you what went through your mind, but let me ask you basically, now, is this indicative of why sometimes probes by National Assembly don't get either concluded or no one gets the outcome of all of those? If what the Minister of Niger Delta said yesterday is anything to go by, because it's just a reflection of so many things that could go on. Talk to us from that window.
Well, I think that importantly, we are in a very terrible situation in this country. Those who are saddled with the responsibility of oversight functions have been openly accused of also corroborating corruption. Don't also forget that the chairman of the committee had to step down because the former acting MD had to openly accuse him of also taking contracts. Look, where we are in Nigeria today, these people have mortgaged our future and the future of our unborn children. And I'm saying it wholeheartedly here, that men of good conscience have to rise up. When I saw the video, when I was watching it yesterday, I was shedding tears. What exactly are we doing in this country? We have become object of ridicule within the Committee of Nations across the world. Men who are supposed to be in the Alo chamber of the National Assembly, men who are supposed to be noble, who are supposed to be respected. And I keep asking my question, how much do we need as an individual to live in this earth that is transient? What do we need all the money for? People are dying daily. Hospitals are in terrible situation. All over the world, the pandemic is ravaging and people are dying. Yet, an average people in position of power are stealing as if there is no tomorrow. Mike, this is one of the worst moments of our national history.
All right.
And I think the president must rise up and defend this nation and salvage this country from collapse. Absolutely.
Okay, let me take you from what the president should do there. Razak, the minister of Niger Delta is an appointee. In fact, it was the president who appointed him. The managing director or the acting managing director is also a product of approval from the president and all of that. Now, in all of this, with the can of worms coming up and, with all the revelations, what is the place or role of the president in all of this when it comes to putting an end to it and putting his foot down?
Well, yeah, it can do so much. But we must not allow the buck to stop at the table of the president at all times. Okay. The president is our employee. We voted him in. If he don't like what he's doing, the onus lies on us to tell him. Nigerians must rise. The extent our guys in government can go is what they are doing now. They cannot penalize corrupt people.
But the point there is Nigerians have risen and
for 5 years.
Yeah, but the point is
for 5 years.
What Nigerians can do is to voice out. No one is allowed to take weapons or take arms into the streets and take the laws into their hands. What they can do is talk and wait until the next election. So if they've given their mandate to the president.
When Arutile died, I led a protest. Many people protested, and the people has been handed over to the police. I'm talking about that line. Like this one, we must not allow it to go. The president likes it or not. We are going to continue to drag this to the public until you see a reason why this must happen. What got to this point is because of a public outcry. So that public outcry, that tear we are shedding, we must continue to share that here until This guy must be used as a scapegoat for people who won't continue to do this kind of thing.
Yeah, but
our children.
The concern there is all the public outcry doesn't translate to what Nigerians want to see.
What got to where we got to today? Look at the process in the last 2 months to where we got to today. Left to what they normally do in this kind of thing, nobody will hear about it again. Well, because consistent protest, not on the street.
But the speaker has said the acting MD will not appear again. So is that not a way of putting an end to?
He's just speaking his mind. We will not allow that to happen. The minister is courageous. Don't let us condemn him. I like what he has done for the courage he took. Many members of the parliament will think twice now before they will take any contract again, given what Akpabio has said, that someone someday will also say so. Because someone might be warning them that don't be part of contract execution. Your own is to make law. That what happened yesterday, that the person has been absolved. So it's good this kind of contradiction happens. And that is the lacuna ordinary Nigerians should be waiting for at all time. We won't wait for a perfect situation where everything will turn upside down.
Okay.
This is the kind of moment any citizens in the world normally wait for. Black Lives Matters.
Okay.
People took it up.
All right.
So at the stage it is now, Nigeria must take it up.
Okay. Let me bring Ifekayode in here. Ifekayode, a lot of Nigerians have been watching the body language of indigenes of Niger Delta for whom this is directly impacting before the general populace in Nigeria. We see the youths in the Niger Delta stand up to government, against government, talking about drawing attention to all the devastation and all of the inadequacies in the Niger Delta. But when we hear of monies like this, you know, being pilfered and siphoned and all of that, although as at now, we wait for any competent law to say anybody is guilty or not. But from the, you know, from the comments from members and all of that, it tells us something is basically wrong somewhere. But we don't get to hear the voices of the Niger Delta youths against their own sons and daughters who are responsible for some of these things. What do you make?
Well, I think we all should know the Nigerian situation. The level of poverty is so endemic in that region that from the billions that they have taken, they give them crumbs and they won't be able to talk again. What led to the commission being established by President Obasanjo was the agitation for derivation from the oil revenue from the state. And I know that most of these guys who are Niger Delta militants have also become billionaires over the night. Some of them have done a lot of illegal work. They have made all the money. They are living in billions. So nobody's agitating again. Prior to that period, most of them were living in abject poverty. But now most of them are dealing in billions, buying luxurious cars, buying houses all over the world. So those who actually, the militant, the joy youth who are leading it, all of them are now billionaires through illegal means. So what do you expect to happen? Nothing would happen. I just speak to the ordinary person on the streets of the Niger Delta. Those whose water have been contaminated, those whose source of livelihood, fishing, is no longer feasible. People who farm can no longer farm. Most of their land had been, destroyed. I know that someday soon, genuine lovers of the Niger Delta will rise up and will ask questions from their leaders, because the government has done the needful. It is now the responsibility of the leader of the Niger Delta people. Don't forget that those who have been managing this place since the time the commission was created are purely Niger Deltans. No northerner, no southwesterner, no southeasterner. They are purely Niger Deltans. And all the money given to this commission has been going to the Niger Deltans themselves. And they have been mismanaging it as they like. So I know that a time is coming that the ordinary Niger Delta will ask questions from all these leaders. And I pray that all of us will be alive to witness that day.
For alive to see how things turn around for the best. But in all of this, at what point do we expect either the EFCC or the ICPC wade into all of this?
At the point Nigeria realized that our fate is in our hand. Institutions all over the world don't become active. The people activate it. And that's the missing link in Nigeria and the other countries of the world. Nigeria assumes that a Christ or a Muhammad is coming to fight their jihad, or Christ is coming to down the cross for the second time for them again. Christ comes, it's rapture. Everybody is gone. What we should be doing is to activate the structure, the agencies that are responsible for this. For instance, now, Many organizations are beginning to write National Assembly. My own organization will write National Assembly on this matter. And we are putting our position in place that this is not acceptable. We didn't vote you there to come and do all this drama. It is unfair to us. Look at the numbers of contracts that have been awarded to Niger Delta. And that's why I have a slight deviation from my colleague here that the people of Niger Delta, I can't say they are a total disappointment, but they are not impressing Nigerians. The way they act. I have led many protests on behalf of the Niger Delta people. Suddenly, when Jonathan became the president, they didn't understand what is called restructuring again, or the division formula. Until it got to a point where they said that restructuring will come when Jonathan left. I said, how can you? On this kind of situation too, the Niger Delta people, it is on their conscience to be able to penalize their own children for mismanaging their wealth in this manner. It is unfair to Nigerians who solidarize with them in their pains, in their struggle to this kind of thing happen, and they didn't talk. Where are the Nigerians of Niger Delta? Where is that Baba? Baba is not talking now again. But when it is about Fulani, Baba will take headline of newspaper. He will start condemning Buhari. These are your children doing this to your own grandchildren, and you're not saying anything. I call on Afenifere, I call on Ananese, I call on Dokubo, who is my friend also. I call on all of them now to act now. It is not until when Fulani people mismanage your wealth that is defined as corruption. Right. When your own children mismanage your wealth, it's a higher level of corruption, and we need the opposition on matters like this. Come and join us who are saying that this is wrong. Come and join us. We will be ready to take up the parliament to say that we must see an end to this. Okay.
All right. We'll wait to see how maybe Asari Dokuba and the others will respond to your call in that. If Kayode, before we let you go, some persons are even calling now for the scrapping of NDDC and all of that. Others are saying, no, there has to be a reform. We spoke with Reverend David Ugola earlier on, who said that the problem is not the NDDC itself. It is about the people who man the leadership of the NDDC. What do you say?
I believe that there should be a complete reform in the operations and the modus operandi of the Niger Delta Development Commission. And I think that a lot of background check should also be carried out by the president before appointing people into commissions, because most of the people we have seen, to me, they have not been people that I would describe as absolutely truthful to the ideals and the development of that region. They are people who actually believe in themselves and their family. So, Mr. President, like I would disagree with my comrade, Nasagolokoba, look, the ordinary person in the Niger Delta, just like Mike actually inclined, they cannot carry arms and go on the street. We can't do beyond advocacy and talking and complete to talk. Of course, mass protest is also allowed if it is peaceful. If the president is not firm and decisive in his decision, nothing tangible will be done to address this situation. So if they are going to do a reform, the reform must be wholesome, and the people that will be appointed must be properly checked so that we don't have a repeat of these terrible things we have been seeing in the last couple of years.
All right.
Advocacy in Niger Delta is insufficient. Insufficient advocacy in Niger Delta.
Okay.
Grossly insufficient.
All right. We wait to see how these things, certainly, because you're calling for Nigerians to be conscious of themselves when it comes to this. All right.
To take a look at stories making the headlines in Nigerian newspapers. With me in the studio is public affairs analyst Razak Ulukoba. Good morning.
Good morning, and good morning, viewers at home.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. And joining us via Skype is journalist and media consultant Kayode Akimbode. Thank you so much for joining us from Ogun State this morning.
Good morning, Veronica. How are you today?
Very well, thank you. All right, let's head straight to the papers now, and I begin with the Daily Times. Akpabio risks jail term as NDDC's can of worms open. All right, we'll be looking at that story shortly. And we'll move now to the front page of the blueprint. NDDC pandemonium as Bonday collapses under probe. We move to the front page of the News Direct. Drama as acting NDDC MD Bonday faints during House of Reps probe. To the front page of the Leadership newspaper, lawmakers got most of NDDC contracts. Akpabio, panel chair, withdraws from probe as protesters clash at National Assembly. Bonday ignored doctors' advice against attending hearing. We'll move now to the front page of the National Economy. Iconic businessman, international media patron Issa Funtua dies at 78. And finally, on the front page of the Daily Trust, still talking about Funtua's death, Ismaila Issa Funtua. Okay, end insecurity in your hands, Burate tells Nigerians. All right, gentlemen, let's look at this story on the front page of the Daily Times, talking about Akpabio risking jail term as NDDC kind of worms open. A lot of Nigerians, Razak, let me begin with you, are looking forward to the decisions the president will take because a lot of persons have been mentioned with regards to all of the allegations flying here and there, and they are hopeful that perhaps heads will roll. And as we see on the front page of the Daily Times now, there are talks that perhaps Akpabio risks jail term. Do you see that happening at the end of the day?
Well, from the point of view of law, I don't know what that amount to. If it says that most of the contracts were given to XYZ, it's just stating the record. Lawyers may say that there's a law that says what he has said, he has said. I don't know about that.
Until proven guilty.
Until proven guilty. No, what I'm saying, on the strength of what he has said.
All right.
I don't know why he will go to jail over that. When he has said that the things you put in my possession as a minister and agency under me, these are the record. I don't see. So I don't know the law that says that you should not explain how the trust in your hand is expended. I don't know the law that says that it is wrong. And we want to encourage other ministers to also express their feelings, because there's always rumors that members of the parliament are always on the neck of the ministers for contract, for patronage. So if Akpabio has said what he has said, don't let us drag ourselves into crisis or perspective. He has said the right thing. Nigerians will take it up from there. We must begin to ask a question. Are you a lawmaker or are you a contractor? So we must stop arguing from the point of weakness. Nigerians must know that superiority, sovereignty is in our hand. The whole question of we are waiting for Buhari to do something is out of it. The agency. But
there's a limit to what Nigerians can do.
There's no limit. What we should do is to take it up. Agencies that is responsible for taking on matters like that
are
anti-graft agencies.
Absolutely.
We must encourage the agencies to pick it up from there. Buhari is doing his work. We might say that Buhari should relieve them of their duty, so that's secondary to me. But on the strength of what is coming out from yesterday's engagement, Nigeria must pick it up from there. And that's what we are doing. First, the embarrassment caused by Punde, we must not allow such to happen to us again. There must be punitive measure for it. Then flowing from that, we must begin to pick all the things that were there. When probe happens, you don't wait for someone that is not in the line of that exercise to begin to prognose into it. President Buhari should not prognose. He should leave agency to take his course. It is only when
But Nigerians are saying that he has the final say, and he must show that he is leading the fight against corruption.
Because the military mentality is still in our consciousness, where the president has power over everything. He doesn't have that power. What I'm saying is that Nigeria must take control of the process. Akpabio has said that contracts were given to members of the parliament. If it is true, that is a gross
Nigerians should begin to speak and call their representatives.
Agencies, not representatives, agencies that are responsible for it. Yes, they must do their duty. Is
that where we should begin?
Yeah, they must do their duty. They must pick it up from there, that all the list of members that benefited from that contract, we must begin to isolate them.
All right, let's bring Ifekade in now to lend his voice to this conversation. I wonder if you share the same view with Razak, asking that Nigerians begin to pick the fight from where it is now and begin to ask questions, encourage agencies, the EFCC, the ICPC, to begin to look into these matters.
Absolutely, I share the sentiment, and absolutely, whatever he has said, I buy it 100%. Every political stakeholders and every political office holder in Nigeria, they are employees of Nigerian people. They are voted by the Nigerian people, and we are paying their salaries. And so whatever it is not well within the confines of the Nigerian system, every Nigerian has a reason to ask questions and hold them accountable. Beyond advocacy, beyond civil society organizations protest, beyond newspaper mentions, we should also let the people know that this 4-year electoral period, we should ensure that credible characters emerge in position of leadership. There is no other alternative than when we have credible characters spearheading the affairs of leadership of this country. Otherwise, it's going to be a conscious circle. We'll continue to, recycle these characters who are deficient in character.
But do you think a majority of Nigerians would want to speak when the people for which this the NDDC was established is not saying anything, as much, not much is coming from them? They are expected to champion this fight, aren't they?
Veronica, how do you know the average Niger Delta is not speaking? Because they did not get newspaper headlines does not mean they are not talking. Look, for the fact that even if you go to Niger Delta, those boys still kidnap is an indication that things are not well in Niger Delta. The fact that even these people that are stealing millions go around with hand escorts within their community shows that they are not accepted within the community.
But that doesn't mean the message is being channeled in the right direction.
It may not be appropriate, but it's also an indication of failure of leadership within that region. When you, as a political leader in your community, cannot work freely among your people without going with hand escort, it shows that you are not accepted by the people of your community. It shows that you are a failure and that people do not consciously believe in your leadership. So, going forward, beyond the media advocacy that we are doing, average person in this country, aside the Niger Delta, the Yoruba nation, all the ethnic nationalities should begin to hold the people. Look, just like Razak said, I am actually happy that Senator Akpabio openly, he was a member of the Senate, and he said that you people are the one collecting contract from us. And now they have said it, it's on record. The National Assembly should now do internal cleansing by setting up, internal mechanism to probe those who have collected contract from NDDC, how much they have collected, and whether it is in tandem with the laws of the land. And those who are found culpable should be charged to court, and an appropriate sanction should be given.
All right, let's get back to the studio now, Razak. Some have said that perhaps we should begin to look at the act that established the NDDC in the first place to give room for the people to have a say on who should be at the helm of affairs and the way things should go. How much will that change and how much impact will that even have for the people?
If the soup is not delicious, you can't hold the ingredient responsible. It's
really?
The cook that is responsible, the cook. If NDCC is not working, don't look at the act. We are clear about the act. The act is one of the agencies to complement the excess of development, the lack excess, the development, to cover the excesses is the reason why NDCC was put in place. What are we looking for again? It's clear that NDCC go and develop Niger Delta, all producing areas.
Yeah, but now they want a room created.
The oil that is being taken from oil is the nutrient of the soil. There is a danger in future for it. This NDCC is a body set aside to address the danger that might happen in the future. It's clear. There's no debate about that again. What we are saying is that those funds, at the end of the day, we fund those funds in private pocket. That's the crux of the discussion. And we are saying that we are just long-throating. The people the matter concerns are the people of Niger Delta. Why are they not talking? Why did they keep quiet? No nation can move forward in that manner.
But if I just said that they are talking in different ways.
I agree with you completely. Wow, someone mismanaged your fund. It is strange to now see somebody carrying out solidarity rally in the favor of someone who, and it is becoming a pattern. Look at what happened when Ibori was under trial. Youth came out in solidarity for him. That is our money. If he end up in private pocket, it's still our son. That's not civilized. What is happening now? We expected the youth of Niger Delta in the traditional way they used to do things, whether it is Fulani or Yoruba or Igbo or someone that is not from Niger Delta, that is found in this kind of situation, the way they normally resist and protest. I expect them to be at the parliament yesterday. Me, I'm from the Southwest. Oh, look at this from this, it's also a Yoruba man. Why is the Kubo not on here today? Why is all this, all the Niger Delta activities not on here today? It is not good for our nation. And that is an extension of what I'm saying, that it's not about Buhari, president all the time. this military mentality, it is the consciousness that is still in us that makes us feel that it is why that can solve all our problems. It's a clear case now. We have to take it up from there. More kind of one will be opened if we pick it up. Akpabio has said that members of parliament took majority of the contract. Let's take it up from there. Who are these members of the parliament? Who are the people mismanaging the fund that belongs to Niger Delta? Every day we have a bombing. Our economy is in recession as a result of these activities. We must hold them responsible for that, and we must pick it up from there. Nigeria must not keep quiet. Christ and Muhammad are not coming to fight our struggle for us.
Let's quickly go to
our faith is in our hands.
If like he has said, our faith is in our hands, and if we have to begin to address this, where do we begin? Because this is a fight against corruption, which you would recall this government stated clearly it is going to tackle head-on when it came into power in 2015. How do we begin to address these issues now, especially seeing that our image internationally is also being tarnished, so to speak, and it is costing us? If you would recall that Nigeria is said that to have the poorest of the poor, and we also have issues of health challenges. How do we handle all of these issues?
Well, I'm going to disagree with my colleague in the studio. Every nation of the world is defined by the character of its leadership. The President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is the Chief Executive of this country. He has responsibility to show and demonstrate leadership in every sector of the country, be it security, be it anti-corruption war, be it infrastructural development. As of today, the President has not shown enough courage and demonstration to bring to book this character ravaging this country. Godswill Akpabio is an appointee of Mr. President. It belongs to the ruling party. Members of the National Assembly, the Senate President, the Speaker of the House of Rep, they are members of the National Assembly. They belong to the ruling party caucus. Mr. President should summon courage and demonstrate, because when we have institutions that are running perfectly, we won't have issues to be talking about, Mr. President. But we do not have structures that are running and institutions that are running perfectly. If the police was functioning very well, if RCPC was functioning unhindered, if ESS was functioning without being political, then Mr. President will have less responsibility to take. But most of these organizations are not properly structured, and essentially they are being political. And so in a country where your institutions are not properly structured and run without being politically biased, Mr. President will have to rise up and do the needful. I would have expected Mr. President, as I yesterday, to say, Mr. Minister, based on the allegations that you have, opened at the National Assembly, may you please step aside while this probe goes on? And then I would have expected that even the leadership of the National Assembly, those who have been accused, should have been suspended and allow people who are not involved to take over the probe. And then from there, we will know that they are also sincere. The President will show sincerity, the leadership of the National Assembly will show sincerity, and the average Nigerian will believe in the leadership of Mr. President. And then we'll begin to gradually restore the confidence of the Committee of Nations back to our country. But if we continue to play Akim Panky, I'll begin to, because people have said that it's like a normal day comedy in Nigeria. This will come and it will go. And over a period of time, nobody will talk about it again. I expect that this will not go. This will not go because we'll continue to talk about it till those who have perpetrated crimes are brought to justice.
An interesting submission there, Ifekayode. Thank you for your time. You want to say something quickly?
Yeah, it will go. If you are still expecting that the guys in power should be the one to take it up, it's been the pattern.
All right.
We are expecting the president to do something. It's the people that must take it up that will not go.
Obviously, what it is now, Razak,
if
we
people
must
take
say
it
that
up from here,
the president
it will not go.
has his role to play, and the people have their role to play.
Yes.
So we have to play our role.
You have struck the balance.
Yes, that is it. We have to strike a balance at this point. Thank you, Razak Ulukoba, for your time on the program.